perfect. I wouldn't change a thing if it was all or nothing. Then I would want it all. Happiness needs pain, like the ground needs rain, and fire breathes flame, like I need you. Victory needs a fight, like the dark bleeds light, and wrong craves right, like I.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to the Goose House Weekly Skirmish. Joining me on this beautiful Monday night is the incredible, the charming, the splendid, the breathtaking, and outlandishly talented. It's the one and only Hail Monkey Man. It's great to have you back. How the bloody heck are you doing?
You know, I'm having a great time. It's awesome to be back on the Goose House. Hug honks all around. I've been missing you guys, especially with all the awesome events that I've been putting on over here. And of course, it's just great to be back with you, Veggie. This has been a skirmish I've been missing out on, but it's been just as hot as ever, and I'm glad to see that it's back.
It's good to be back, isn't it? We love these Monday nights for so many reasons. It's the night that we see the community go head to head in order to get their hands on some refreshing Red Bull, and of course the biggest prize of all, the glorious honks that you've previously mentioned. And I mean, we get some just for being here, but the people contesting for them is what it's really for, right? They get the big prize.
Yeah, they do. You got to make sure you're fighting for them, and you can find totally a bunch of different ways to get all those extra honks if you're part of the community. I mean, heck, being in this Discord, I'm seeing as many memes as I have dreams, which is actually not that many anymore. 10-year-old me and 30-year-old me are way different beasts. But still, if you're not part of this awesome Discord, make sure you do get there. It's discord.gg/TGH, as well as join them on their awesome Twitter page as well. Because, look, you guys have been a fantastic community that we've seen bring some of the awesome competition, like Birds of Prey, that happened just all of a week or so ago. So great to be able to see you casting over there, Veggie. And of course, we're going to see these awesome skirmishes tonight.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And we're going to be heading into one of the best maps in the game, in my opinion. It's my favourite. It's a newly found Breach stan. You know, I simp for Breach. I won't lie. I'll take one for Breach. We're heading to Haven. And I've got to say, I used to despise it, but the more and more I see it and the more I start to get into my Breach meta, this is a fantastic map. It combines everything. Like, it's your 3 bomb sites that obviously is talked about every time, and now with Lotus coming into it, it's talked about even more. But Haven, there's just so many ways to attack it, and I feel like there's always new ways being made up to defend it as well. So I don't know, what's your take on Haven?
I mean, I love Haven. I think that Haven has become very much a warm-up set over to moving into Lotus, which has been way less feared by many teams, especially if I look at the collegiate meta. I actually really love Lotus, and I think working those two together have been fantastic. And just like you're talking about with Breach, taking over Hell on site A is basically an impenetrable wall for retakes for defenses. So that's been really cool. You basically have your three main sets when it comes to agents into those pools. You've got Breach, you've got Omen, and then you've got something of a twinsies between either a Jet or even a Raze. But sometimes switching up into that is your Pocket Reynas. And then after that, it's about whatever you want to set up with. You have kind of Gecko that's gone into the mix. Have you been playing any Gecko? You're on the initiator side of things. Have you gone anywhere near that new agent?
I've not. I'm too scared. I'm too scared of Low Bro, to be honest. I don't want to harm Low Bro, and I don't want to be the one that's responsible for putting Low Bro stupidly. I mean, I've got Pokeballs in the background, so I literally should be playing Gecko, but I mean, I'm just going to keep Low Bro captured to myself.
You don't want to have to be the older brother making sure that he's not that he's getting hurt. I understand. Look, I get it. He's cool. He's very disruptive in terms of kind of like being able to bring in Thrasher, which really has forced a lot of teams to have to retract back. We talk about ultimates that get sites cleared. You can do that with null commands on KOs. Same thing with breaches on their Rolling Thunders, which he's the loudest Swedish man I've ever heard in my life and just can be able to clear entire sites. It used to be almost a dating sim between himself and Fade, working with that in the Nightfall. It's basically a nightmare. But, you know, when it comes to that kind of agency, it really forces teams to kind of play this dance of when they want to really take on the initial attack of sight and maybe just play for life and have to retake.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing I've seen with Gecko's ult is like using it to clear angles and then bringing it back to finish on top of them, so you can just pick it back up again, and then what's it, like 10, 13 seconds or whatever to like is reusable, and then you've got two ults, right? I mean, that's fantastic. What can you go wrong with two ults? But someone's hovering over an agent that every time I come on this, I say I'm not going to talk about, and every single time I do, there's two Yoros in the mix here for Team Josh.
Oh, they're trying to tease you. There's three of them out there. At least for
four.
all. Okay, they actually may just slot machine this one. Instead, we at least see Chicken Feet picking up onto the Sky. And of course, didn't really talk about going into Sentinels. I think that the mainstay Sentinel that's going to be here, even with some of the audio changes coming around, is still going to be Killjoy. I do find it interesting that Bochi Bochi Tarka is actually floating onto a Brim. I like the orbital strike sitting on that one as well, but I don't know. Some of this can be interesting, especially working between a Killjoy and a Sage. That's a lot of denial, and you're trying to really kind of slow things down, but they're pressing on the attack side, so they need some of that more insurgency, and it looks like Gecko actually might be the answer for them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that one works. I can't believe Team Josh have just done me like that. But I mean, Jet, like you said, is your common pick here. You've seen that picked up by Kera and Josh going into this one. So I expect to see some fast dashes down in Seaside. And maybe Gecko will just let Lowbro run down Sealong himself and try and get the plant in a whole load of Brim Smokes. I've seen that plan the other day break through with all three Brim Smokes popped down at once, and then Lowbro just runs through all of them and then can't be seen or stopped. It's that could be the new meta, you know. You never know. You've seen Harbour's Cove and Gekka's Lowbro, but have you seen Brimstone Smokes and Lowbro? We'll have to see if that's something that comes out coming into this match.
Yeah, just a caterpillar of smokes all the way through. You can't look. You're trying to. Everyone trains for head level shooting, but when it's little bro, when it's wingman, when he's running through, you have no idea. You just hear as he's streaking onto sight. But we will be going on with Team Kera on attack, Team Josh on defense, and we are going to have at least a Sky on their second half, which will keep some of that extra, I guess, agency for finding where the transition, some of these rotations between, because you often test A. We see this so often. Sometimes C is your opener, but often A is just the main hit. And then when it doesn't work, you get repelled. That's going to be a great guiding light pick to then see when the team is trying to be flushed out and move away.
Yeah, I like Sky. You've got the healing off the bat. If you're wise and you're a team player coming into the eco, you pick that heal up, and then it's free heals going into round one, and that can be absolutely huge in a pistol round. You know, if you get dinked, you get down low to your sort of 10, 15 HP. Players think, oh, they're low. All of a sudden, you're healed back up, and you've got the man advantage, and you've got the health advantage on that fight that you shouldn't have had. So Sky definitely could be a big pick. Something you often see is your Sova and Fades rather than your Sky, but it'd be interesting to see how that one plays through coming into this match.
And of course, we're going to see how the duelist comes up, especially onto that Jet. Jets are, I think, the god tier influential agent, especially onto Haven. They can make so many quick first contacts become just a man advantage into a power play whenever they get that first kill. So we'll be coming straight into it. But will this be a Jet diff situation, or will we see it be more of the initiator of chicken feet and as well as Cyrex onto that Sova having to work against this Gecko with Whiskey? So kind of your double Sentinel versus double Initiator. I like the extra intel, especially when starting from defense.
Yeah, and I've just noticed that Bangers is in this lobby, so I'm excited to see how many Marshall kills we're going to get throughout this evening. If we make it into the final, it'll be an interesting one to keep a tally onto how many Marshall picks come up. Not going to see Bangers on the Vandal a lot, but the Marshall, that is what we'll see. But here we start, a fast C hit, the smoke coming in, the dash, so common. Gecko's flash already up, and C-Site is fully under control for Team Josh here. Team Kera having to bring this fight back straight away. You have the dog getting ready to be cleared some angles, but the rest of the team is slowly making their way onto site. But this looks like a strong post plant coming in all down C long.
You know that everyone has basically retreated all the way to long, but Kira's actually stayed away. They're getting 3. No, the first couple do come, but it becomes a 4v3 after it's a 1-2 trade. Bangers from distance, and everyone's basically hanging out from distance. They do clear because of that extra audio. They have been able to get rid of some of those swarm grenades and picking up the next ghost. It's Chicken Feet that's doing just absolute work down there. They are a blender, and the defuse comes through. Great response, put the sky smoke down, and there's multiple bodies still standing, but Team Kera just couldn't hold.
Yeah, they thought they could just hold from the back there, but Team Josh just said, nope, we don't care. Let's just hold it. And Chicken Feet just sprays through the smoke and picks up so many kills and just takes down the backline, basically, right? There was absolutely no holding back from that one. And maybe they'll have to rethink how they play post plant further up, maybe keep more members on to C, maybe try and take a bit more space in the next coming rounds whenever they try that. But it was a good round to start with. It just, unfortunately, they backplan. But here they come, attacking into Garage this time, trying to take more space. But Charlie waiting there with the Spectre, gets a dink, but it's down low HP themselves here. Has to kind of deny anything coming through here, stop it. But Bangers with the Marshall straight off trying to find contact.
Well, and everyone is getting just sprayed down. Charlie, I'm surprised they're actually still alive. They didn't get fully cleared, but they're going to get splashed on the face. And then eventually, no, Whiskey is defending them. It's actually going to be dropped. Cyrex finds Whiskey as he gets very aggressive. And then Josh will find a third before being traded out by PJ Queen. So taking the bomb, running away with it, realizing, you know what, there's a lot of fighting that's going on over there. I'm at least going to go get some plant points. And Team Kera is playing into a 1v, let's call it 2 and a 5th, maybe, with Charlie barely having any HP left on them. But you're at least going to have an ult point, and they're going to make it tougher by putting this wall down. So you could have PJ Quinn be able to come out with maybe a squeaked win if they can, but this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, noticeable that they do have the Sky in the team, but are choosing not to buy the heal, which could be definitely used to make this a better 3v3 situation. But nonetheless, the odds are forever in Team Josh's favour as they drone through here. But this wall is going to cause a slight block. But JP Queen is spotted straight away. And it's a bloodbath as Chicken Feet just squeezes through there and takes the head clean off of the Sage Queen and gets the defuse for it. And that'll take them into a nice, comfortable 2-0 lead.
That was a clever idea, but that one has been sniffed out in several lobbies. There's no wall that is safe anymore for Sages to try and hide behind. Instead, it's Chicken Feet that is currently deathless, same with Cyrex, but Chicken Feet really has been able to keep this team on their shoulders and alive as necessary between the first two. Now, they are going to be playing into their bonus, but the buy-up is going to favor Team Kera. And you've been talking about Bangers and Marshals. I'm assuming that they get a ton of Marshall kills usually. Is that kind of their big trade moniker?
Yeah, imagine, I don't know, 10s on the op, and then bring it down to Bangers on the Marshall. Like, that's parallel levels I would describe here. So I'm expecting big things from Bangers, but this is a fast C-hit here. Kera already on site looking for that killjoy, but chooses not to take the fight and just lets Charlie sit back, and that does take PJ Queen down. But Boki Tarka gets the kill in the end, and the plant is down. It's going to be a harsh retake, and it looking for space, but Chicken Feet perfectly positioned for Whiskey as the Brimstone Molly picks up a kill as well, and it's all down to 2 players here, and this is a 4 versus 2 on the buy round. It's a 4 versus 1 on the buy round, but this is not the position that Bangers looks to be in, but gets one kill anyway. Looks for a second, gets the second, looks for a third, but Apoc is there to claim the head and take the 3-0.
You know, every Marshal is in fact a operator as long as you're getting headshots, and Bangers was getting at least a couple, but couldn't defend from distance against so many numbers. So Team Josh, now this is a eco breaking point right now, because you're gonna have to go into what I would assume be a save. They're floating for the idea of actually going into a couple forces. You're gonna have Spectres, maybe even a hero rifle hanging out there. So it's a weird eco. I think they'll actually be able to eke out something of a few dollars in their back pocket, or pounds, or Bitcoin, whatever you want to have in your piggy bank. It doesn't matter. But either way, Team Josh is quite rich, and you do have Josh on the op from A. If anyone swings out that, they're going to have a new belly button.
Yeah, and they're just going to tease and tempt it, but there's Apoc picking up the first. Gets the nice, easy kill. The Brimstone difference coming out so far. That blinding light, just trying to get some info to see if anyone else is pushing up B, but not quite going to find anything as Josh is sat peeking this angle, waiting patiently like a tiger hunting the prey. It knows eventually they will come if it waits long enough, and it does look like Team Kera might just head over to A, inch by inch fighting into lobby here, and this could be getting dangerous if it's not cleared. Josh waiting ever so close. It's so tempting. Kera is thinking about walking into it and does walk into it, and the shot unfortunately missed. But that is danger sign. That will keep Team Kera away from this A site, you would have to imagine, for the meantime.
Yeah, they may actually force over to B. You see the rotation. There's a couple hanging out on the east side of it, and they will blend in, but Apoc also blends the forehead of Whiskey. A great headshot. They're traded out eventually as Kera does grab him with a Guardian, but they don't have the best in the way of armaments. Now Chicken Feet holding a very close angle. They are so ratty about this, and they'll be looking for a second one. They're caught out on the mid box and then eventually going down, but it's Josh that finally gets dividends paid out on that operator from the shoulders. So 4 in a row for Team Josh. This will be a fire round question mark. It should actually be full shields, full rifles across the board for Team Kera. They've just not been able to win most of these contacts, and they're trying to play patient and punish any kind of aggression from Team Josh. But Team Josh has been very disciplined, as well as Josh rotating over and getting that final kill.
Yeah, they're, like you said, very disciplined. They're holding. They know they don't need to push. They're not getting pushed themselves by Team Kera, like you've seen there. Getting on site. And Josh pick up a quick kill onto Whiskey, and that is going to put a dent in the plans here, but the spike is gratefully retrieved. But yeah, you've seen them get onto site, and then the rest of the team not overly pushing on with such aggression that could force out the plant onto B that last round, and that seems to be the testing ground of when they get the plant, they don't look for extra space, they just wait, and Skal in a spot, but picks one, and now Boka has the advantage, and A does look like a site to hit. Killjoy's going to have to hold this one down strong.
Looks like they've been a bit desperate when it comes to their util comp, because they've honestly been having enough smokes and they have enough blinds to get themselves on, but this has not been very comfortable. Josh is looking for, I guess, to put a belly button in the back end. That's going to be Josh. That is blended down by Boki as Tarka is able to get him with the orbital strike. Oh, one strike deserves another. They will be able to trade as Apoc gets rid of the queen. Is this a checkmate? It should be, because they're going to be able to jump out a window. Look, I've died jumping out that window on low HP. Good parkour. But goodness gracious, they isolated Queen into that corner. And these retakes have just, I mean, it's not been easy, but it's been very fluid from Team Josh.
Fluid is the exact description. It's like water flowing down a waterfall. It can be a bit messy, but you know, it gets to it at the end of the day, and it cleans up anything with it. You don't want to be at the bottom of that waterfall, and at the minute, it's Team Kera just getting thrown about, trashed in the water. It's Team Josh dominant going through here. The money's not fantastic going into this 6th round for Team Kera. You're going to see Kera themselves playing with the Bladestorm here, looking to get some impact kills with those knives and try and open up as much space as possible. A fast push is not what we're going to see, as they're just baiting out C-Long, looking for that operator, trying to figure out where they have the space to go down to without getting taken out so easily. And this 4-5 side heavy over to C could open up a lot onto A here.
Yeah, this is a hell of a A or a C read. Honestly, they super stacked all of the gadgets into Garage, which they still want to poke and prod, I guess, from Team Kera. Like you said a moment ago, Team Josh, they've been more of the Zen fluid waterfall flow, whereas Team Kera has been more of a spilled glass of water just all over the table. Bit messy, really is making a soft impact, but not the kind you want to see. Bangers finally is getting rid of one of them big impact players, but there's one on either side of B as Josh is able to get rid of one. Kera is able to find one with the Bladestorm as they will have another updraft looking for anyone to swing away, and they're at least going to be able to pick up a rifle, which means they've now got extra lethality behind them. Josh's Tailwind will burn out, and now Thrasher's trying to isolate even more, but he can't get up the steps.
Yeah, and it feels like Kera could get caught in a dangerous position here if Josh can just find that shot sweeping around. Looking for it, but Charlie now pushing up. Garrison gets taken out. Cyrex answers back, taking out Kera. It's a 2 versus 3. Team Kera finally looking like they could find a round, but that Molly's going to cut out a lot of possession. Boki brings this to 1 versus 3 and does get the 3k, and finally it gets Team Kera on the round and on to the board and thinks about the op, but does opt to take it instead and throws that down straight away to pass that over onto one of their teammates.
And it looks like Bangers will finally get an upgrade that they can afford as they'll be picking that up and some buys will be traded around. So finally, Team Kera is able to tourniquet their bleeding limbs. They're about to all become stumps, and truly they're going to have to be looking for some prosthetics, but they're walking around just fine for the time being. The first half of the first half has been dominated by Team Josh, and it's simply because their retakes have been pretty much uncontested. So many players dropping by Team Kera on these early attacks, and they definitely lend themselves to these reads from the Killjoy. Charlie has done very well about being able to stack and read all their gadgets opposite or in the same edge of where Team Kera likes to go.
Yeah, and this lockdown being utilised to try and get as much space onto C side here, but not really clearing the backside. They're going to have to do that themselves with pure gunpowder, and Kera does have that gunpowder, picking up 2 huge kills and tries to get the bomb back now to get that planted up, and the Gecko Molly is just going to deny anyone coming in from CT side, and that's just going to allow the plant down and then the retreat into this post plant that we see every time. All 5 members looking to retreat back, but Kera holding on for now, and it should find extra value, and does find that extra value. 2 players left to find, and they're hunting that ace. Finds one, gets him, gets the 5th, and Kera picks up the first ace of the night, and it's 5-2. Is this a comeback story? The underdog story we've all been searching for? It could just be.
And if you're going to have someone leading, it's got to be the one that the team is named after. And of course, that's leading from the front 10-6 right now is Kera, who's having to stand up really big and strong. And this is going to be one of the first times that Team Josh may be looking at a eco round for themselves. They're going to have sheriffs, maybe one Vandal with no shield if they really want to force into that. But the operator is still hanging out with Bangers, and they can play from distance. I see them going to C a lot more often. You see this Caterpillar line of gadgets. APOC is going to hang out super close, see if they can play danger close with a Frenzy in hand, one of my favorite sidearms. They also may get read into this. Kira's not clearing this corner, not at all. Everyone thinks it's safe. Oh, they're going to be able to get 2, and they're just ruined by APOC with a fantastic Frenzy.
That was beautifully played. The gun patience just to wait there does absolute wonders, and here comes Hunter's Fury trying to cut off anyone that could be back. And finally gets one. Bangers is dropped. And this is calamitous. It's all falling apart as Cyrex picks up a 3k as well. Beautiful comeback there from Team Josh. You know, they had the money disadvantage, but they had the better play. APOC pushing up C long and hiding in that corner really wins that round. And you've got to give credit to Cyrex as well. Cleaning up on the flank and picking up a nice 3k. And all of a sudden, momentum's turned back to them.
Yeah, that's 2 reads that I would have never thought of. One, because you have the ginormous big boots of Brimstone. I didn't know they could work. They can move that fast to be able to get to that cubby before the rest of all of Team Kera could onto Long C. Also, you don't read your corner, but not seeing that Hunter's Fury from a lateral angle, that is such a hard perpendicular to have to predict. So look at this hard push. They're basically conga line full on in, trying to just parade their way through. Looking to see if there's any other tags. The tailwind does go up, so you do have Josh surviving. The wall will come through as well, and you have a party up in heaven. Everyone's trying to turn into Valkyries. The Pathfinder will be killed early, and the Orbital Strike does trade out a Brim, so Boki Boki is now off the board. We've seen this before. This act, this theater will turn into a drama as Kera takes on more of these, and they're stacking them onto the back link.
Yeah, and the lockdown thinking about being put down, it is put down, and that should give them enough time, but PJ Queen playing it dangerous, looking to get the tap kill, and looks for chicken feet, but not going to be able to connect, and does just have to run away and save their life, and that's going to be enough time for Charlie to get the defuse and stick it through. PJ Queen having no chance of getting back into sight. Just has to save that Vandal, keep any health that they have, and you know, Team Josh 7 up on defense. That's not something to be mocked at. We haven't mentioned it at all tonight, but this is a very attacking-sided map in my opinion, and so far, Team Josh holding on to their defense. Like, yeah, it's not looking too strong for Team Kera here.
I mean, when it comes to this map in particular, like, because most maps, I mean, you see anywhere to the like 45 to 50%. It's pretty even. This is one of the few, much like Lotus, that lends itself to being more attacker heavy because you have to stretch that defense so thin in terms of personnel. So otherwise, you have two sites, you have two stacks, and you have kind of a mid maybe, but you know, flank watch goes to the gadgets, and everyone else is just chilling. But this one, it's been great response by Team Josh. I mean, look how aggressive they got into A. If there was going to be an option to try and take that, that has been stolen because they're in sewers and they're already onto that CT divide. And actually, they're going to be looking for flank. Boki Boki's able to get rid of APOC as well. Kera, again, is being an impact player, but they've got to come up huge. The best thing come up with this first half is a 7-5 difference, and everyone's going to be playing away. Kera is trying to be the monster that they're going to have nightmares of tonight.
Yeah, this is much better. You're seeing the space being taken so fluently as well, and this has just put Cyrex in such a difficult position that it's probably not even worth taking, and that's exactly why. So it's just running across to A, looking for the teddy bear to hold as they save into this next round, scared that Team Kera might come hunting. The 5 players left alive for them. This was a very good attack. Got onto site, got the kills, cleared it, took even more space, and that just denies the defenders that retake possibilities. There's so much more to clear, so much more danger, rather than just looking down that C long site that's been done so many times from Team Kera so far, and that's why they get themselves back on it at 7-3 here.
Yeah, this has been a squad in Team Josh. I think, let me check this out, 5 of the 7 that they've been able to win have been defuses. Their retake capability is very strong against Team Kera. They've just not been able to hold it as long, and I'm kind of wondering if that plays more into the Sky and as well as the Sova. They've been having just great initiator, just push. You do have the Gecko, but like we talk about, you have to pick them up, and it seems like the timers have to be kind of juggled between all of their different assets. But it has not been Team Kera finding that in Worth. Cloudburst goes down, and again, Kera just looks like they're on something. Lots of sugar, lots of Red Bull, lots more, as they are just so energized to try and clear sites. But this is going to be a full 5v5 retake, and look how many are just playing from distance here for Team Kera.
Yeah, I'd certainly be lying if I said I like this. They've already had the Gecko Ball being used, so that's not going to be able to deny any plants. Everyone's just going to be spraying this down from long. Is Kera lone to hold this on site, but does get one, looks for a second and does get it, but is traded straight away by Cyrex, and here comes From the Sky to deny a little bit more time, and the sprays start coming through to see what they can get. And you know what? It might actually be possible with that Brimstone Molly up now.
Oh, and they've also got... Wait, hold on. He's just looking away? No! Oh my gosh. All right, Veggie. They have a plan. They obviously have a plan on Team Kera. They want to plant it more to the left, play from that off angle back on long C, and they want to stagger with some of those big ults. But the orbital strike, no matter how well it was used a bit early, and then just playing off of your molly, which was a bit misplaced, and then turning away was, in fact, APOC, who has been so impactful in a big way as a controller. Team Josh, sometimes they're getting away with it, and sometimes it's just Team Kera shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, you know, like when you used to play hide and seek when you were younger, and it was always like, if I can't see you, you can't see me. That I feel like that's what APOC was doing with the molly, just looking away from it. Like, you know, if I'm not looking at you, you can't hurt me. It's fine. There's no damage can be done if I don't see what you're doing. And that's just unfortunate for Team Kera with the lineup being missed.
Oh,
PG Queen picking up a big kill onto Josh straight away and thinks they get Cyrex, pulls out the knife and gets punished. The Cyrex runs away with 47 HP, but this C hit is coming down. But the Killjoy lineup could be dangerous here, but maybe a little bit misspread is now waiting for these to go down, and Brimstone starts the plant, maybe get it for their molly this time, and the Gecko molly to deny any space coming back through, and the ult to try and trap players behind, and does trap players, but it's only going to slow down time for a little bit as the rest of this team push onto site now.
Whiskey dropping quite quickly as Charlie is able to re-extend. They're going to have the turret go up, and again, the molly is a little bit more standard. They are not at half, but you do have the Brim playing into a 1v3. Chicken Feet is going to go for the knife. They're just going to try and hard swing it. No, never mind. They're just going to play into Cubby. They were just knives out running. So, well, that's a nice Brim stem. I didn't know we were playing Ultimate Frisbee, but we'll go 9-3, and Team Kera are hoping that the curse is real as we're about to flip halves.
So let me pose to you. If you're Team Kera, you played, I feel like, really aggressive for most of it on C site, and then backed off, but now the roles have switched out. What do you think that needs to be the difference maker here? Do you think they need to show aggression off the bat straight away, or do you just play it safe, hold for sites? You've got two Sentinels that can basically shut down sites if they have to. I'd imagine you're going to see the Sage Wall come up quite a bit on B just to deny any B entry. And I mean, Killjoy should be able to hold down C at least for a little bit and then get some free damage off with those mollies and turrets. And then the rest of the team, as you've seen, popped up on A. But do you think aggression could be the answer?
I really do, but it can't be from everyone. Just like you were talking about, we're going to have the Killjoy really kind of setting up standard when it comes to C. The Brim will very much enable the Sage to either deny Garage or straight up on B. And I want to see Jet and Whiskey, or Josh and Whiskey, become best friends. Because if you can play around that Dizzy, Kera is going to absolutely murder anyone that comes into that Wombo combo. But it seems they're actually going to be splitting the difference, seeing if aggression may get punished. APOC in a Frenzy is now my new favorite double, because that's got to be what you have to get rid of and play against. And PJ Queen wants to get rid of anyone that does come up to, I guess, lick some ice onto this wall. They break one brick, but the smoke comes down. This is going to be tough. They're going to have to swing straight into window of Garage. This attack for Team Josh, it's going to be tested, but right now they're finding no personnel and resistance. They do send in the bots, and now they're going straight for duels.
Yep, and Josh picking up 2 kills straight away. Cyrex picking up the 3rd. And Team Kera falling apart quicker than my academic dreams, but it's all down to Whiskey. 1 player left for this defensive team as the plant comes down for Team Josh, and 4 players to take down. This Sheriff could find a lot, could find some few heads, but if I was to believe, I would not. And Charlie does get the right click headshot and takes out Whiskey, and maybe put some ice in that glass and drank that one down to get to 10 and feeling comfortable.
It's Coke and whiskey for me, and goodness gracious, sometimes that can be a little bit rough. But for them, it's going to be just another round that they have to endure. And Team Kera, they're going to be on a rough one. They don't want to force this if they don't have to. Bangers is looking to try and go absolute sicko mode with a Marshall, but otherwise you're looking at the necessity to play for the long haul, because Team Josh, they're in a great, comfortable position. They can basically play, just kind of clamber together. They've got the weapon diff. They're going to brim stem their way straight to B. They're going to try and clear that one out for the guiding light. They know that PJ Queen is on top of it, so they're going to turn them into a pinata and pop their skull very quickly. Cod jump, why not? Chicken Feet clears out Kera. APOC's going to take up a close distance. That's going to be Dizzy down. Looking at the use of the shorty, they get 2! Oh, Boki trying to stay alive, get any of the guns on the ground, but it looks like they will rotate over to A into this 1v2.
Yeah, you know, if the shorty had more bullets, that would have been devastating for Team Josh, but thankfully for them, it is only the 2, and that's why it's so short, because it just does not have the stamina. And Banger's down to 26 HP, but did get a shot off onto Chicken Feet, and the dog now just going to be confirmed of what space has been taken. And you see Josh taking space here, waiting for the angle to come through, but Bangers is aware, but it doesn't matter how aware they are, as Josh has the aim, has the better gun, and picks up the kill to get them onto 11, and now 2 away from claiming this victory and getting themselves into the final tonight.
So much the VCT champion that you are, Veggie, I need to know, when you're in an 11-3 situation, how do you keep the team at least honest but optimistic about their chances coming into some of this, because I've seen big comebacks, just not very often, and on a defense that seems like it was made for slowing down their opponents. Really haven't been able to do that here against Team Josh.
It's all about jokes. If you can get a joke, you can keep morale up. And what wasn't a joke was that shot from Bangers straight away finding a kill, but unfortunately for Bangers, the Vandal had been purchased and their head was quickly removed as well, and just making this a 4 versus 4 straight off the bat. No advantage to be taken in the rotate, coming in big, but the footsteps have been heard, but it doesn't matter. Charlie has that Vandal, claims the kill, and starts clearing angles now, looking to quickly ascend onto A site as they can take advantage of this.
You know when the confidence is at an all-time high because your Sky, your Jet, they basically are quick running. There is no shift walking. It is just non-stop sprinting. The Marathon is absolutely a speed run into the semifinal round as Team Josh is 2 rounds away from being able to get themselves qualified into this week's Skirmish finals. Josh finds a third against Boki Boki. And now into a 1v3, caught from both sides. Charlie can't finish the job. They're looking for a wallbang to get it done. They will howl as it happens. 12-3, a mightier mountain there never was for Team Kera to have to overcome. But I think this one is going to be probably the roughest it could be. Given our current eco, we're going to be looking at hopefuls, maybe just ARs and light shields. But this is basically a bargain bin buy.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. They're trying to do the best they can, but sometimes the best you can is not enough, as we often find. But you never know, if you persevere, you just might find you get what you need. That was awful.
It's okay. I like the lyrics, okay? We'll turn it into a new song. Oh my goodness! Trying to do everything they can with the judge, though. Boki Boki, they believed in you. They heard it, and they're like, you know what, Beji? Yes. Sometimes you don't always get what you want, but you get what you need, and which apparently is the gavel hitting 3 times for 3 kills. Bangers is now encroaching as they have trapped him like field mice in a net. Charlie looking to at least get rid of Kera, but they just can't land the shots. And now swarming onto APOC, Bangers will lay them to rest. So, hey, that's at least 1. You just got to get 8 more.
Yep, and 1 is a start. You put them all together, you know, eventually, if you keep winning rounds, you'll get back into this. And they have buys now. You've got full shields, got rifles all around, but you're coming up against a full rifle team in Team Josh's hands as well. So you need to just play this perfectly. There's now no slip room. You cannot make any mistakes. Need to be perfect. And you have to say it does lie a lot on Kera here. Having to entry fast. The team need to be optimizing themselves behind them and get together to make sure that they can just do what they can. But Bangers picking up a kill to start with, but quickly traded off by Chicken Feet. And it's going to be an A hit, but the team are positioned nearby, and you look at this Sage waiting for the Z push just on an off chance that they do start bringing back down, and the flank is fully on.
Whiskey has only been able to get 1 kill this game, and honestly, they're not going to find any more because it is Josh that is laying down the authority. As they're going to go all the way up into heaven. Great updraft. It will be a nice trade. JP Queen able to find Charlie, and that's Boki Boki that's finding Cyrex as well. It turns into a 2v2. Look at the creep. Look at the lurk. Look at the spin. Actually, Boki Boki is able to get rid of him, saying okie dokie. Into this 1v2. Molly comes out looking to clear these angles, but Chicken Feet actually comes up a bit sooner. Now it's a 1v1 for the remainder of the map. Can they make it to the finals? At least teasing the defuse. Chicken Feet eventually has to go forward because they know it's been double pinged. But that's it. Ring the bell. This one's school and class is over. 13-4. Team Josh, they're moving on to the finals.
Yeah, that was a close one. I was again a bit excited there, I won't lie. I was thinking things were about to go down as they both entered the smoke at the same time, and it came down to a penultimate fight. But Chicken Feet had their slippers on. They were braver, and they get the kill. I mean, it wasn't a close game, but it certainly felt like it elements it definitely could be, especially going into that last couple rounds. You've seen Team Kera getting themselves back together, but unfortunately for them, Team Josh just had what it takes to get into the final. And, you know, commiserations to Team Kera, but congratulations to Team Josh making it there. And excited to see who they're meeting.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to view, especially if you guys are still hanging out with us and you haven't followed this channel. Make sure you do so. This is good. This is a weekly skirmish that I always love to watch, and of course, I think that there's even more when it comes to Tuesdays. I've seen League of Legends popping up, so even more content around the Goose House. But hey, it's gonna be Team Josh that is in fact moving on to that final. They did it in a good spread of authority, 13-4, and shout out, it was at least a soft jet diff of Kera being able to. Well, hey, Josh found it into a win, but Kera actually took the top of the stack of the entire lobby. So call out to him. And I know that Gecko was that pick Whiskey was going for, and I was wondering how it would play out. It had moments, but it just didn't combo the best way. So that's still showing that meta compositions maybe are a little bit stronger onto this map.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, commiserations to Whiskey. Someone has to bot frag, and unfortunately, my friend, it was it was you this evening. But you know, we'll never let you live that down. But the captain of Josh managed to pull the team through that 16-13, and Chicken Feet as well, 16-9 on that Sky. You know, you highlighted that initiator pick could be huge, and indeed it was absolutely frying coming into that. And I mean, I'm just looking at the stats here. Josh with 2 first bloods, or 3 first bloods, and Kera with 3 first bloods. I feel like Kera was dynamite anytime they got onto site, really finding value in everything they can. Unfortunately, the rest of the team just wasn't able to sort of match that up. But as we are waiting for the finals, the other team is still in match preparation, so I'm sure we'll be looking forward to that one with excitement.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one regardless. So we'll be seeing you guys on the other side of a short break as we get into a Team Josh. They get to sit, chill, sip some Red Bull. Maybe you guys can do the same. It's the late night hour here at the Goose House as we've got more skirmish action coming up in just a little bit.
I need you.
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Brother, sister, can you hear that? Our heartbeat cutting through the ether. Star drifters, can you feel that? One love can make us all believers. A generation of renegades, we don't have to stay alone. So brother, sister, can you see our light guide us home? We'll paint the sky with our energy, so they can see us from outer space. Through the dark we will radiate. They're gonna see us from outer space. All the faces in this ocean come together, making memories in motion. We're the traces of the chosen. Let's come together with a heart wide open. A generation of renegades, we don't have to stay alone. traces of the chosen. We'll paint the sky with our energy, so they can see us from outer space. Through the dark we will radiate. They're gonna see us from outer space.
dead, no good at facing. Push me past my breaking point, but it don't even faze me. You think you got me beat, I guess you don't know who you facing. I got places to go and you know I'm gonna make it. Adrenaline is pumping, feel it running.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Goose House time. Honk honks in the chat, and of course, here in the booth. I'm Hell Monkey Man alongside Veggie Hot Dog, and we're still kicking it going into this skirmish. It's finals time for this week in Veggie. We've already gotten one of our entrants in Team Josh, but it's Team Moose that's trying to get the goose, I guess, by the eggs and the legs, seeing if they can be able to get some Red Bull and some glory into this skirmish this week. And we're heading to a old, maybe for some it's a favorite, but one that's a map that's been redone since its iteration in the beta. It's Bind.
Yes, brand new updates. Of course, everyone's been playing this in Premiere, so I'm looking forward to seeing if these teams have the latest, the greatest, the best tactics, what they took into those Premiere games. Can they translate that into tonight's bigger stakes matches? You know, people want to compete at the highest level, and this is where we are just now. The Goose House Weekly Skirmish final is where everyone wants to be. I've heard that Ye tried to enter tonight and was turned down because there was too many positions filled. So, you know, these teams have a lot to play for. But like you said, Team Moose meeting us here in the final. I don't know about you, but I am very much scared of Moosies, I believe is the right word to describe it. It's definitely not Meese, right? It's Moosies. It must be Moosies.
It's either Moose is Moose, or it's Mooses, or it's Moosai. I go with Moosai sometimes because it claims respect for the ginormity of that animal. So why not? But look, we come into this with a lot of power from both sides regardless. Bind has been switched up. In case you have been living under a rock compared to all of the Valorant patches that have been coming around, Bind has been widened, be it Wide Joy, Killjoy is still somewhat the majority Sentinelistics here. You do get a lot of Cypher play, but as much as this has been changed in terms of its shapes, it's not, at least at this moment, been changed in terms of its meta. You've often looked for the double controller schemas. You get Raze that basically bounces around this map as if they're playing Titanfall 2 or Apex Legends, and then everything else just comes down to regular trades. I mean, you're talking about playing a lot of Breach. What do you lend yourself over to whenever you play a bit of Bind?
I mean, so this is where I just sell myself short again. I play Yoro on almost every map apart from like Haven, where I can play Breach, right? I'm one of those absolute scumbags that you don't want in your team, like bottom frags. But you know, I'm trying to have fun. I'm fake cloning about the place. I'm like walking past all the walls. But you know, I think if you're talking about Bind in particular, you mentioned that the meta really hasn't changed too much on this. Your Sage is still very prominent if you want a fast attack onto, I forget which side it is, but I'm just going to say A site. I might be wrong, but you know, you go up by showers, you put that wall down and you block it off, and then you get a free plant, and then you just hold it. Or you've got the double controller, like you said. If you've got the Viper, you've got the Viper's pit in from showers, which can be fantastic, and then you've got an opportunity to Sage wall it off there as well, and then it's a great hold. So definitely one that still has a lot to come in for. But I mean, trying to think of what could be an interesting pick that we're maybe not going to see. Maybe someone like a Reyna. I know we spoke off air about how effective Reyna can be on this map. It's one that shouldn't be, but often can be. I know I got decimated by a Phoenix earlier, so maybe we'll see something come up on there. But I don't know. I'm all for ears. I'm hoping that we see something exciting and maybe a team bringing something new to the mix. You know, we didn't see any interesting variations coming through from Team Josh, but maybe Team Goose. No, Moose, not Goose. But it should be Team Goose in the Goose House. But it's Team Moose here instead. Hopefully they can bring something different to the.
Look, a goose is just a miniature moose. I've seen a goose stand up to several different cattle into a group, but also those are animals of prey and not exactly the predator. But gooses, as they are to get around, so are mooses. And one other pick that maybe we didn't talk about in terms of duelists is jets. Jets can still be very impactful when it comes to their first contact trades. Yorus are being floated on because I think they love you, Veggie.
I
So
feel
this
like I
is
just get trolled anytime I come on these channels these days. Like, it hurts
Like,
my heart.
yeah, they love you. Look, they it's the robot and the 4 clones. This is like I think this is Terminator 2, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Terminator 3. But we will see something a bit more standard coming out of Team Josh. If I am not mistaken, this is pretty darn similar to what we saw on the opposite map. But I think that was with Kera in mind. They're gonna have the Sage, they're gonna have the Killjoy, which we're gonna see that Killjoy a lot onto B, I would have to say. But the Rays with Josh, who was a stone cold killer, was able to just exist anywhere they needed to be. But this is meta picking when you're looking at Team Moose. They did go to the Rays. They're going to have the Viper coming in, which, depending on those screens, can be very difficult to have to work around.
Yeah, very difficult. You've seen a few harbour picks coming into bind recently with the slow walls, and his actual wall can be very good for taking down sites, but Viper is still staying as that main staple. You mentioned the wall can just be so difficult to navigate around. The snake bites, if you've got your lineup Larrys on your team, can just hold back from wherever you get the plant down, and then all of a sudden Viper's running back to spawn, looking at the leftmost central pixel in the sky, and all of a sudden it's mollied onto site, and it's unstoppable, unstable, and definitely vicious. But I'm looking forward for this one. It is the Goose House Weekly Skirmish. Now we are about to find out if this is a big, scary goose. Moose. Oh, I'm getting this mixed up so many times. I had a really good bit there as well. Oh, no. Oh, I'm going to start again. This is where we find out if this is the scary moose that can trample anything, or if it's a chocolate moose that Team Josh can eat up and devour and get themselves a crown.
I mean, either one would be pretty sweet. I love big mooses, but also, those are terrifying. They can take down cars, they can trample people, they just ruin your entire garden. So, Team Josh wants to shut them down, but they have to do so from a defensive standpoint. APOC was huge when they were on the Brim before, and they've actually traded agents and roles between themselves and Cyrex, who was on the Sova, going on to Haven. Have the Jet on Team Moose. They're going to play in opposite of that duelist. Actually, it's kind of a single duelist versus a double with both the Rays and Jet, so they want to get there with some earnesty. You're talking about taking up space. Team Moose definitely wants to do that right in this moment as well, and they're going to play into a singular controller. So around that sky I think is going to be what really gives them a lot of that sustainability, especially off the guiding lights, getting as much of those flashes as they can.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for this push that we're going to see from Team Moose coming in with this double duelist. Like you said, it's a fast brace for impact hit that can be so successful taking over this. Killjoy is going to have a lot of work to do if they can hold this down. The turret should take contact first. Actually, Team Moose just holding back a little bit. Thought about going for fast, but then cut noise and pull back, and that's going to allow for Sova to meet Killjoy over on this site and starting to just clear angles and making sure no one got up close in that time. And APOC jump the spots there, gets out of the raid. Jet dashes onto site, pushing into elbow. Mystic gets down one with the grenade, and Charlie gets the kill onto Moose from elbow. But site is now free. The utility has been used up. Blaze is low, but Charlie's spotted out, and the heal starts to come out on Team Moose here to get the teammates back to full health.
And that is actually a big difference that we don't have for Team Josh. They do not have a healer on their side, so the sustainability for that is just not going to exist. The retake is coming through. Josh is trying to get some extra damage, taking a couple extra steps, double swing, as well as Blaze gets one trade, Josh another, becomes a 1v1, and they're just trying to find a quick spam off of the Ghost. They're going to pick up a classic right click and a hop and a jump, skipping around, and it's just cat and mouse through this pipeline. They have to tease it. The guiding light as well. Oh, hit him just around the ankle, but they turn away in the nick of time. That'll be Team Josh, with Josh, the captain of them, being able to get this retake, and that'll be the first round.
Yeah, really leading the bull by the horn there. Picks up the kill, takes the initiative, fights for their team, and does it when it matters, you know, picks up the kill when it counts, and that's going to get themselves on the board, gets momentum going in their favour. I know it is only one round, but sometimes if you get that momentum going at the start, it keeps you going, and Team Josh will be happy with that. Pretty much even all round, everyone picking up a kill apart from APOC, who unfortunately lost their lives to those paint shells at the start. But it was a good attempt also from Team Moose. They took it slow to start with, ascended onto site with some urgency, and then tried to hold on, and unfortunately just lost that fight out here. But I like this sort of slow pace. They're going for the orb down on A, making sure they can get the ults online. I'm not sure if that was Sage or Brim that picked up that, but smart either way. Get the Nightfall or the heal available is good to have. It is the Sage revive that's up, and that could bring a 4 versus 5 back into 5 versus 5. Could be huge if it could come down to it. But here comes a hit on B. Fast and furious. Here we go. Vin Diesel time.
It's all about family and about these sprays as well, as Charlie actually doesn't get any kills. They will be taken from 2 separate angles, and Osmo aims to hold here at Hookah. That bomb, that quick paint shell is going to just plink off of the top side of Pipeline, and Butter looking to get at least ratty on the back end of it. Not going to happen. Into this 4v2, Team Josh, they have showcased themselves to be very good on retakes, and with 3 kills, Josh is doing exactly the same amount of work they did a moment ago.
Ooh.
Blaze will find one, the Molly gets another, but the defuse eventually hits, trying to just upgrade their arsenal before they die, but Cyrex gets a parting gift in the way of Blaze falling down. So I like these reads. So far, it's been a 1-4 stack of having Charlie hanging out on B with all their gadgets and gizmos aplenty, and then everyone else, I mean, they're already clustered up. It is a full party, and they play for getting themselves either on that flank swing through TP or just joining the party thereafter from CT spawn.
Yeah, they're really continuing the momentum with the retake ability. They're confident that they can do that. They're confident Charlie can hold down B for as long as possible and delay tactics. They can fight up onto B, A, which is one of the harder sites to retake. I mean, so is B, but shots clashing through as Butter looks to try and put that guiding light out to get the flash to cross here, but doesn't need it, chooses just to jump across like the moose that they are and collect up with the teammates here and make sure they don't die in a needless battle as they have the full buy coming in. Boombot going to clear some angles, but are they aware they're walking into a 4-stack? This could get messy really fast, but Team Josh doesn't have the gunpowder to really stop this if it comes to clash, but it's all going to come down here in the next few seconds as they're just feeling out and wasting the util.
A lot of damage was put onto that Sky, so you know that Butter is stuck in a rough position. They know that the Sage has been here, and a quick self-heal. Chicken Feet will be laid to rest, and they are doing another big change-up of roles as well. Mystic infiltrates into the back line as Cyrex will trade them away, and now as the plan does come through, the spike has been planted, and Team Moose, they have the Arsenal diff. Team Josh is making it very expensive, especially because they're onto their bonus. Only got 2 players, so it really won't feel like one, even if they were to win it. Looking for a shot to the shin, and that one's just not going to give them what they want. A few extra shots pre-fire by Blaze, and that's the expected 3-round outcome. 2-1 as Team Moose finally picks up their first.
Yep, and keeping 3 rifles alive is pretty big. You know, you've seen Butter falling down to such low HP right off the start, but does well to stay in for the rest of the team and keep that Vandal going into the next round, because that could come huge as the rest of the team that do buy in, but because they've died, they don't have that affordability on the money to buy the full shield, so we're going to have to see how that one comes down. But the rest of the team able to do it, and I mean, some forces came through from that last round from Team Josh, meaning some light shields being purchased on that side as well, but opting to send 2 players over to B this time, and Killjoy swapped over to A, but the hit is still heading over to B. We've seen Team Moose head here so many times, but will they be prepared to fight no Killjoy, but the Sage and the Brim this time?
I love that cat and yarn buddy on that gun. That's a fantastic choice. And yeah, I like that they are switching up where Charlie is going to be lining up to, because you can't always keep the gadgets in the exact same position. You can see a bit of a blind fire coming through the sky smoke as Cyrex will try to delay and dismay, and I do like the option. You always line up to see if you can get a pick early here, but otherwise you do keep that TP as an option. And they do have the Brimstone at least ready to go. That's going to be Osmo that gets one, and they immediately act upon it. As soon as they get rid of Cyrex, they start taking even more space because they know they have one isolated defender trying to help out Chicken Feet, and now the Viper's Pit is getting invested onto this site. They want to have this one. They want to try and tie it all up. Showstopper doesn't find anyone as they aim to get rid of the Viper.
Oh, and Blaze cut down so low so early, he's going to lose their life, and Chicken Feet finds another. Spike is down, Apok gets 1-2. Josh picks up 3, and the defenders pick up the third round going into that. I mean, that was a tough situation. The Viper's pit went down, but Blaze, the HP fell so fast that it was almost impossible, and Apok's recon dart was just enough to pick up the position and then get sprayed down, and all of a sudden that round falls apart quickly. And Team Josh looking really good. We've spoke time and time again about these retake potentials and ability that they have, and they're just showing it off for fun right now, and it's really something to see. And I'm just noticing Cyrex picking up the judge, holding B alone with the judge, and unfortunately nobody's going to be coming. Nobody's knocking at the door, but look at the smokes, the 3 smokes coming in to clear so much space, and unfortunately it's wasted as the team are not hitting here.
I mean, it may be wasted early, but caterpillaring that far up means you're safe for catching a rotation. They are playing somewhat defaults, but they're recognizing that a lot of gadgets are at least planted nearby, and they're going to have to kind of walk through a few of them. The Viper's toxic screen will be invested here, though, so they will start to retract back, and this is where some of that may be paying off. Getting caught onto the swarm as the blast pack actually forces Mystic to just become a pinata. Cyrex with a classic because they don't have any distance fighting to be done. Butter caught in a rough position in mid. Chicken Feet eventually gets found by 1, but it's always Josh that's able to make those big impact plays in the midpoint of the round, and Charlie that then finds a Viper at the latter end. So Team Moose, they were keeping pace with Team Josh, but then it just seems like it's kind of falling apart. That one wasn't exactly their best buy round, but as soon as they decided to run away Veggie, it just seemed like it all fell apart.
Yeah, and it was almost lined up well. You had Cyrex pushed maybe down a little bit too far for his gun ability with being it into the judge, but you mentioned it, Josh just comes in clutch, gets a kill before heading into the TP, and then finds the rest. But you've got to give props to Charlie. That the Killjoy lineup was exactly what stopped that fast attack coming in, and fast attacks are often what you get, the pressure coming in quick and heavy, especially on ecos. You don't have the ability, you need to close the gap as fast as possible. When you're entering sight, you can't be slow and methodical, but the Killjoy just shut it down straight away, and once again just getting free damage onto the sky. But Roos gets the first kill here, and the lockdown coming in to clear sight and force the rest of Team Josh away, but they're looking to think about fighting it, but now decide it's wise not to as the timer comes down. But Moose hunting down the prey, closing the gap on this position.
They're going to have to clear this corner. I don't think they're going to be expecting it. Nope, not at all. Moose is going to take on the world, but they only find a continent to it. A revive comes through, and Chicken Feet had been prioritizing having that revive ultimate come online, so they can keep this one to even 4-4. You have swarm grenades set up onto the bomb, and that spike is ticking a little bit faster than it is comfortable for Team Josh. They're going to use the Owl Drone. Chicken Feet otherwise is using their gun to just absolutely put everyone down. I don't know if they have enough time to go and get the defuse. Everyone is running away, so the battles may have been won in the trenches, but Team Moose is going to win the war. Cyrex, well, I guess I don't know why they died, but you know, here we are. They're going to be keeping their
to buy in.
Yeah, just extra creds, I guess. Why not? But Team Moose, they get one back. That's what counts the most. But it was expensive.
I think they might have got a DC. They're not moving currently, or maybe they didn't expect the revive and they've just left. You know, they're now just looking at it. Yeah,
when AFK, they're like, I don't need it. Whatever.
Yeah, they're like, I'm dead. I'm gonna go get myself a slice of pizza, and all of a sudden they're stood there with that Spectre go. But anyway, they do buy in. They choose to have no shield but a Phantom. It could come in well, but unfortunately they're leaving the Sage to fight here alone on B site, as the attack does seem to favour on this way. Chicken Feet got a 4k in the last round, looking to find more, and does get the first one, build up those ult points. Revive used in the last round, and already 3 away, making value for it. Picks up the first kill and is looking to shut anyone down, stopping people coming down hookah. But Mystic, with the judge, could easily infiltrate the site here with these satchels, but chooses just to play it cautious instead and not enter onto site as the rest of the team progress up into C long.
This is Team Moose expecting these fights. From the very first round, they were expecting a lot of aggressive push by Josh. They were thinking that they were going to have to take some of those fights in hookah, and I mean that's reflective based on having that judge just in hand. Of course, you can take over the small space. That's a big blitz of bullets and BBs that will fly around. But for the time being, they've had to be more methodical about this, clearing every single angle. And this is not as fast as they want it to be. Orbital Strike is going to clear Garden, and they're actually going to look at the option and take it immediately to take this teleporter over to A. We haven't seen this transition as of yet. Charlie's a bit slow to the reaction as Butter's able to find them creeping in the corner. And the plant should come through, but Josh is able to get it two. He's looking for a third. He's going to get blinded out and try and go to safety.
Yeah, uses that nade to force back the pressure, pulls out the showstopper, but Mystic satchels above it. But it doesn't matter, Josh finds a kill, there's 10 seconds left. Time is definitely of the essence, it's too close here as Butter, caught in a really tough place here, will not be able to see this round out and just has to try and fight for their lives to stay alive into the next round as Cyrex peeks it, but does lose her life instead, and Butter just positioned so closely up there, could not do anything for them. And Team Josh, 3 in the lead now, 5-2 up, heading into this next round. They'll be feeling confident that they can keep pushing forward. And Josh, 13-4 right now, showing why they are so good at this game.
Just so ruinous as well. Who expects off of that rotation for someone to be sitting on that box? It was a reactive push. I think, honestly, they should have stuck around after. I mean, this is 2020 hindsight, and maybe even not the right answer. But after the orbital strike came down on Garden, they were expected to be cleared, and they made a play for the teleporter right after that. No one had hard rotated. That was a single ultimate that this repelled them to have to run away to make that decision. So they, they're going to have to deal with the outcome of their decision, the consequences of their actions. Looking for a Blade Storm, but Moose just can't hit the mark. A wall bang onto Mystic, and that's both duelists down.
Yeah, that's a really tough start, and now they're just kind of delayed in hookah and long. Oh. And another one falls. Josh finding value again, and Chicken Feet goes hunting, but Osmo gets the kill, and Cyrex is there to answer it, and Blaze all alone in this 1 versus 4 here. Has the judge, can they be the executioner? Looking for the plant, has the Viper's pit available should they choose to use it, but it could be really tough. I feel like they're just saving, but they're getting shot from behind now, and you have to feel the days are numbered. The judge is not going to hit from there as Cyrex peeks and picks up the kill and sends Team Josh into round 9. Veggie, it's 9. Quick maths is that was really tough. I won't lie, my brain froze.
If there's ever anything I've ever learned for casters, we should not do math. That's why the game is giving us stats, Veggie. I turn this thing off and I simply say words. If we start to do critical thinking skills, especially mathematics, we are doomed. It's gonna be a very bad podcast about numbers that I don't understand.
Yeah, so someone mentioned pie and I'm hungry. But no, it's looking for the fast pace, but Charlie there shuts that one down quickly and retreats because they are low health, and once again Josh on the scoreboard getting another kill. The Viper's pit's invested this time. That judge save, it wasn't saved from before, sorry, could come in clutch, but walking right into Josh, but Apox steals the kill instead, and it's all falling apart so quickly. All these ults put down and nothing really found for it as Chicken Feet finds up the next kill and swiftly dealt with that push.
9 rounds gone. We haven't seen any timeouts. Honestly, the skirmishes don't often call for them, have them, or otherwise. But 16-4, 4.0 KD. Tag on a couple of extra assists on the back end of that for Josh, who we saw be, the best of the stack when it came to his team going into the semifinals. And this one is very much the same. This is a playground for raises, and this is a raised diff if I've ever seen one. 2-9 opposite of them is Mystic on the attacking side for Team Moose. And look how aggressive. You're actually looking to try and go and grab that ult orb, but they're just going to get a bit of a jiggle peek. Not even one where you need to hop. Just one where you have at least a retreat. And I think they may look a bit too fondly after the... They're not clearing this corner. None of this was communicated. It will be Charlie that only gets 2. Chicken Feet that finds and cleans up the last one. And Blaze is trying to quickly, I guess, work through all of this util dump. Shock darts and mollies abound. And it's a 2v. Make it 1. 1v4 as the spike is now in open arms of Team Josh.
Yeah, you could see the read there. Team Moose, Killjoy all alone on A site calling out to Blaze that, there's space, come back. But who is there? It's no one but Josh, ready to pounce and make that killer blow. And the spike is now flipped onto Team Josh's side. They are now defending at the spike rather than the sites. And you have to say this is not looking good for Osmo, but they have to believe. If you don't believe, you can't win, and they believe. They get the first kill, pulls out the blade.
Uh-oh.
But Josh is there. But it doesn't matter.
Oh.
Josh is no longer there. Looks for where anyone else could be pressuring from, but the slow orb's going to reveal one position, swaps out to that Prime Vandal, maybe felt the skin diff could be possible. Osmo feeling it the way out, picks up the spike, maybe going to head up long, maybe take the TP off the site. But 11 seconds, there's no time, they need to push on. And the rest of the team, it could be positioned well. 6 seconds, chooses just to save the weapon instead. Don't give it to the opposition, don't give them that extra ult orb, and just take this Vandal into the next round.
It was as best, almost the best case scenario of what you could gain given that situation. The fact that they found 2 off the swing around Fountain on B long is actually huge. So getting at least a couple, but this is 8 rounds for Team Josh, and they were able to go 9-3 in first half play in the semifinal when they took on Team Kera. So Team Moose is in an uphill battle. They need to grab a couple because the 9-3 curse just does not affect the likes of the squad on Josh. But 17-5, continuing to at least find 1 kill, 1 death per round for each of their lives. But Team Moose needs to see some level of impact. They don't have very much money. They did have that one as an eco. So this is going to be another big rifle round. And they've been trying to act with speed. Really hasn't given them much, but Moose finds a big tag and bag as they get rid of Josh. There's a big swing on the outside, but Osmo couldn't get rid of APOC.
Yeah, too strongly the orb now being picked up by Cyrex, looking to get that ult online as possible, but here comes Blaze looking for these lineups, and it's not going to find anyone, but Charlie could come in huge here. The flank unexpected as one falls, but misses the swings, and Moose and Butter and Blaze team up together to get themselves onto 3, and like you said, the 9-3 curse does not work. They need 4, you have to feel, coming into this, but the full buy now coming back for Team Josh. They've had so many rounds in a row that they can afford to lose that one, and APOC picking up the operator, looking to shut down angles quickly on this next round and hold it tightly. And you've got to say, Team Moose haven't looked terrible when they've got together, but need this next round, you have to feel. They have the attacking lineup with the double duelists. They have the ults online as well. They have the Seekers, they have the Lockdown, and they have the Showstopper if they choose to use them. And you have to feel they need to utilise these perfectly in this next round.
Yeah, you could really see some sustainability, especially if Killjoy does use the lockdown, maybe from long B, depending on where they kind of station up. It's about winning these first contact duels, though, and it's going to be Chicken Feet that does at least get rid of that. So the lockdown is no longer an option, and they don't have a revive to try and bring him back. The Toxic Screen is invested to get rid of at least that window look from CT, and APOC is having to look the opposite direction of where they would be down long. And maybe this is going to be a rotate call. They actually may not commit to this, but look how many have already at least come over from A. This is going to be a rotate. They've decided that they're going to at least go for a safety check. If anyone is trying to come around for this flank, they'd catch them. Haven't. Seekers go back to B, and that may stagger them. Look at how this is actually squeezed, and it's now just Charlie versus the world, but his turret is able to help him out. A little bit of extra chip damage onto Mystic, but they don't find the swing on Moose.
And the team quickly catching up here. Josh doing a lot of damage, getting the shots in. Here comes the Showstopper looking to find space, looking for a kill if possible, but it's enough just to warn the enemies away. But Cyrex isn't scared. Cyrex takes the head instead. Showstopper exchanged from Josh. It does find a kill, and it's 2 versus 2. But Blaze is there with the lineups positioned in that corner. That's going to need to be dealt with as Cyrex starts to defuse. Butter looking round, has the knife at the ready, looking to slice through, but the orb up. There comes the molly. Slicing, going into space, lands down, and this is going to be really tough for Cyrex should they choose to push into it. There's not going to be time. They're holding it down, they're so low, and Blaze swings, gets the kill, and does get that 4th round that I felt that they really needed.
Oh, they were all of a millimeter away, because that was a great half to get onto the spike to then survive what was the Viper lineup. But 8-4, this is a much, well, improved, I guess, 1 round look improvement for Team Moose versus what Kera was able to do over Josh's squad in the semis. But we will, in fact, flip halves as we go into round 13. It's easy to remember because I don't have to add anything. It is what it is. So we go with Team Josh. Okay, can they maintain this level of pressure? Because you had double duelists and they were able to just basically just just delete them from the map, Veggie. This was all right, cool. You have a Raze, you have a Jet. Moose is hitting the majority of them, but we feel nothing about that. If they get to site and lock that down with the Killjoy and the Sage, it'll be very tough to get around them for retakes.
Yeah, this is a very fast hit on pistol here, but Butter's cleaning up so far, and it just leaves Charlie down in this 1 versus 3. Classic in hand has found some few kills, but the rest of the team are closing in. You've got one outside the teleporter waiting for that to be taken, and Osmo shutting down angles and lamps, but it doesn't matter. The right click is there, but Moose gets the final say, and that brings us a little bit closer. The gap is being bridged as Team Moose pick up the pistol, heading into 5 on the board, and they finally get to get the advantage of bringing the big guns in here themselves and hold on to this defense. But I liked the aggression there from Team Josh. You've seen the stim go down and just everyone ascend onto site within a second. That's kind of what you expected from the double duelist before, but you're seeing it from the single duelist in a Brim. So will we see that keep going on forward? I'm looking forward to it.
And I like that kind of first contact mentality for Team Moose has not faded away. They wanted to be aggressive and they wanted to go and find those fights, and they did so immediately. I think 3 dropped in about 5 seconds, and straight from the round beginning off of Team Josh. And so they didn't have that survivability going into the long term, but now they've slowed things down. First round is all but dust and echoes and a memory that they will have short-term memory loss to. Whereas now they're trying to establish themselves at least onto B. That is the idea, and they have an entire set of gadgets they have to get around. Chicken Feet is going to self-revive, and that's going to be a blast pack. No, sorry, the paint shells that gets at least Moose in an uncomfortable situation. They are able to get 2, 1 through the blindness of the smoke as Charlie will drop, and options are now coming at a premium Team Josh cannot afford.
Osmo doing really well with the Killjoy utility. The turret just holding everyone back. It's enough, but Chicken Feet finds a jumping shot onto Osmo now and maybe makes it a little bit more interesting, but both members of Team Josh really low here. Basically dead, but Chicken Feet are going to have to try and heal up Apoc if time allows. But the positions are just not great with 30 seconds left on the clock. Cyrex starting to make their way onto site with no Killjoy alarm bot online. It could get interesting, but Moose shuts that one down quickly. And now you see Chicken Feet and Apoc up to a little bit better health, but being closed down by Moose here, ready to take the fight and ready to pounce when we need 10 seconds left. It's not looking good. The spray comes through with the Spectre, and Mystic cleans that one up. The 4K coming in, and I mean, that's what you expect on these rounds, right?
Yeah, it's you either buy into a sheriff or you just kind of have a full save so they make sure that this one's going to be rifle rounds. And then it turns into a bonus, but Team Moose is making it scrappy. They were able to limit at least the majority of the damage just to an 8-4 in that first half, finding a couple late. Now they find the first 2. If they can get a lot of this propelled forward and really ruin this buy-up for Team Josh, then they could really overtake them, because that would force another eco by Josh's squad going into the next. But round 15 will tell a lot of the story. This bonus very important for this final, and they're gonna be able to tag at least 1. Blaze is not gonna be able to stay for the long haul. They gotta run away, and that means this toxic screen is just all of a delay tactic.
Yeah, that drone finding a lot of information, but Blaze tagged up really low now, getting shots fired through the smoke, but not going to connect as the team stalled out just outside short here as Moose, thinking this could be called on to the rotate, decides to rotate early to hold on for the team on B, wants to team up with that other duelist, but decides against it now, and it's just really stalled. Patient play here, waiting for someone to make a mistake, waiting for any bit of intel that could be gathered. No one's just wanting to make that commitment. The stim does go down now. We could start to see the push coming in, but they choose not to use that, and now just waiting back a little bit. Just really slow and methodical. Util dumps. Here comes the TP rush. This is what they were waiting for every team member to be committed onto A and then ascend quickly onto Mystic on B here, but they could find so much impact otherwise, and they're not.
Team Moose, they were waiting, they were fanning, they were hoping that majority of Team Josh would actually end up pushing through, and instead they just had the TP option available the entire time, and now they got to fight through a couple of hard surfaces. This flank is coming all the way to the back end though, as Hookah will be under duress, but Cyrex sniffs that one out as Butter is put down to the floor, and this becomes only 2 remaining, so this bonus is going to be very expensive, and it's just not going to be existing for the most part. Osmo looking for anything but a flawless round. Team Josh does not panic. They do not stray. They're able to simply stay their ground, and then, I mean, Josh, 20-9. Like, dude's a demon. Not to be forgotten is Chicken Feet, who was on that Sky on that Haven map and was just as good. So both these players really standing up to keep Team Josh level-headed.
Yeah, they're being really strong there. You've got to admire their patience and sort of willingness to adapt as they went along. They didn't want to fully commit onto A. They knew they could just stall out the util, and when it came to retake, with all that util being dumped at the start, the retake was going to be difficult because you don't have that much to get back on. But this could be pivotal as Blaze looking for the first kill onto that controller of Team Josh, but doesn't quite find it, and both parties retreat, having lost a little bit of health. But Team Moose taking the most on that side as Blaze jumping up and down for that heal from Sky, thankfully brings him back up to it. But Moose shuts down one attack and another out. The Molly's just going to delay it a little bit, but this is the plant coming in. This is the Sage Wall we were talking about, but Butter has the peak round from Showers, and that spike is now cut down in no man's land, and Cyrex has it all to do a 1 versus 5. This could be one for the history book. Should they find the kills? They get one.
Oh.
Don't get another as Mystic finds the kill, yeah.
It looked like they tripped on the grenade. It looked like they threw it at his ankle and went, whoop, and just kind of fell.
Slipped. Oh.
Oh.
Holding on to the kitchen counter as they're falling down, trying to keep it going.
And there's oil on the floor. Oh my. All right. Well, a bit of extra comedy, and Team Moose, though, they get right back in order. So Team Josh has not had a fun time on this attack and half so far, and it's been where Team Moose has been able to gain 2 steps for every 1 they lose with Team Josh, and because they did in fact have an 8-4 diff, they're slowly catching up, and this Josh squad does have to be at least a little bit concerned. They've been able to clear Blaze out of this corner several different times. Oh, a quick swing though. Blaze throws 3 bullets, the middle one strikes, and they're gonna do another one through the smoke. Oh, turning them into memories.
That was disgusting. But you've got to love a through the smoke kill. It's just unwarranted and disrespectful as now Moose starts to clean up the rest of the team. Is Team Josh falling apart quickly, and Team Moose really finding a home on this defensive rounds and just shutting down anything that Josh and the counterparts can pull up together. Charlie just stuck here in this sort of cubby, and I think the call for a save could be one that's wise. There's 44 seconds left to go, but Charlie and Apoc meeting up together, trying to come up with a plan in any way of attack. But that dog's going to clear out a few angles and confirm that they've not went over to B site yet, but instead just holding basically just outside of spawn here, not wanting to do much. Head back into spawn, take these Vandals into the next round, and hope for the best.
Yeah, Team Josh, they have a great composition when it comes to defense because they can basically delay so much based off the Killjoy and the Sage, and then playing straight around the Brim Sky Smokes, it's just clinical. But Apoc, you whiff! What are you doing, Apoc? Osmo just should have been ruined in there. They saw the jacket, saw the hand, saw the gun, saw everything except getting killed. Osmo does have enacted vengeance as Charlie is traded out at the very end of it. Now we finally have our first timeout. Cyrex saying enough is enough, and if we're looking into this, it's actually going to be another eco where sheriffs are going to be across the board. And let's talk about it, because Josh has had the freedom of movement when it came to the defensive half. They were able to basically fluidly go between their sentinels and their controllers and be that retake force that found so much worth for this squad. But attacking wise, they're kind of like that lone tip of the spear. And if we're not seeing the Sova really get enough intel for confidence and everyone to kind of either push forward, then they have to play around those instant TP options, be it from long B or mid A, and they've just not otherwise been able to post-plant hold these sites. They've had to bleed this clock down to the final, 20 or 30 seconds to even give themselves a chance and just force the sudden rotation.
Sorry, I'm fully lost in that bunda of brimstone there. That was.
It's the brim bender.
Yep, I couldn't help myself, but thanks to the observers for the beautiful observing there. The scenery was to die for sure. But we've seen a lot of A hits coming through from Team Josh, and I'd like to see them mix it up and try this B site. It's not really been tested, but this is definitely not the round. As the Killjoy proper setup into hookah here. If anyone enters into there, they're going to get a hell of a fright. And that one's just going to push Blaze off their normal angle that they've been hiding onto and stick them into Cubby, but the Snake Bite just going to try and force them away. But Osmo finds the first kill here on Josh, and Blaze getting everything in the kitchen sink thrown at them, but fights their way through it and gets one. But Charlie gets the trade and is now fighting this demon of Moose that has been taking names for fun now and just pushes them way off his site. And this 3 versus 2 could get messy should it come to it. Chicken Feet has a habit of coming in big when it matters. They get the kill on to Mystic here. You could feel that it could be dangerous. Is there sort of Charlie running around trying to link up with their teammate and head through TP away from their teammate?
Yeah, it's a weird decision because the spike definitely went the other direction, and now that they've heard both pings, they're coming through. The wall falls, and so into this 2v3, you have 2 sentinels that can hang out around each other, and the lockdown is going to make this at least a bit spicier. He throws down one gadget, the other one comes through. Moose is able to get infiltrating into showers as Charlie will fall. So the lockdown finishes, and now they have to worry about getting squeezed. Eventually that wall will either break or they will. Headshot by Butter. So the defuse will come in, and we're looking at a tied up game right now, Veggie.
Yeah, Team Moose really taking this attacking sided lineup and turn it into defensive sided. You know, some people said the best form of defense is attack, and right now you have to believe into that philosophy. They're doing well. It was a bit dangerous for their eco round for Team Josh, but you know, Team Moose get the job down and really start to build momentum themselves. 5 rounds going their way for this defense and looking really strong for it. They seem to have the answers and the build-up plays, but here comes that B hit that I was talking about. I want to see some nice satchel plays out of hookah. Maybe take out the Killjoy of Osmo and then just explode onto site. You have the res available should you need to take a fast fight, and that's probably what you need to do here. Ascend onto this hookah fast, waste the util, and then just burst onto site. And we'll see if that comes into here, but Osmo could come in big if they can hold this down.
There's a lot of swarm grenades, and Gadget's going to try and clear one. The alarm bot will alert them to the next one, and then Osmo's looking to retreat, but they do not get there quick enough. The paint shells are going to go, wow, that's a lot of extra damage, and that one will be splashed, but Moose clears 2. Both Charlie, Josh, and the gang. It's basically a full-on band, but there's not going to be a comeback story nor an extra tour. It's going to be 2v3 as Team Moose do suffer the majority of casualties. APOC and Cyrex looking to clear this corner. And then because of that shot, they get rid of one. Off the swing, not another. APOC does survive. So he gets Moose down. Becomes a 1v2. Butter has the Seekers. There is an ult diff in terms of total economy to it. And they're trying to see what they can get behind them. You're going to have one from down in distance. And because of the Hunter's Fury, this is going to be so much more difficult. But Chicken Feet sticks and stays their ground. And they'll make this one an easier round. And they can save that ult for later.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The revive coming in huge there to give them the man advantage into that fight, and it really came down to, you know, you're talking, if you don't bring that one in, it could be a 1 versus 1, which makes that a completely different situation. But it's not. It's a 2 versus 1. The Hunter's Fury sets up backside, but it does not matter as Chicken Feet stands their ground as the top fragger in this team, chasing down Moose for that match MVP as they get themselves back in the lead 10-9 now. They'll be hoping to do a little bit better than before and actually get 2 rounds back to back. Can it be done? They've found success here on the B site, so that is where they will hit again. But Mystic posted with it. Doesn't get the kill as Cyrex has the swinging difference. And now it's all going to come down. Showstopper invested, jumps through. The Killjoy util has to find the kill. Oh, and you're caught in a tube. You're not going to get much damage as the paint shell's now coming back to anyone in that CT line. Can spam now, just trying to deny anything as the plant comes down. 4 versus 3, but you know, Viper's Pit available should they get onto site and need to invest this, but this could be tasty as Jet dashes on top of site, looking for the kills, looking for anybody to be close, but they're all posted up quite well and close.
All this wall positioning. Oh, Moose is going to get taken out. His chicken feed eventually is traded. I don't know where the extra inspiration and execution is coming from Team Josh, but it looks like Team Moose has honestly just become their former selves, which is not what they want. This new vital and, of course, just lethal blender of defense is fading away. And Chicken Feet, I think, is really the one that's been able to kind of help out in the long term. They've come alive into this moment when they needed it most. Now, going into this big rifle round, this one could be huge because look at the eco. Because they do have a couple of rounds lost, they're going to get the losers extra credits, especially for sequential rounds. But Team Moose, if they lose this one, it could be bargain bin buy going into what could be Josh's map point of this final. And this attack has really been clinical. They've been able to get the majority of numbers on a lot of these trades. Gonna be throwing paint shells onto the back line. Owl drone to try and clear some of it. And they do see the Viper's Pit. They see him tagged up as well. They're in the tube. The numbers are there. And I think they're going to be running away from it. But look at this impact into the first round. Is Mystic ready for it? No! As they try to walk away, they're going to take it down from their flank.
I love this adaptation. They were having so much success on B that they knew the stack was likely to come across here. But do they expect Moose? They don't, and Moose gets one, but does not get the second. And now the post plant is going to be set up coming in from Team Josh. You're putting the pressure onto B site, forces down that Viper's Pit, and it's enough to call out the rotate and get the free plant down onto site. And this is looking strong. Hunter's Fury is still available, but Butter gets the one kill onto Josh, and that's a big player down in this aspect of things. The dog finds no intel as Hunter's Fury is posted well below the Killjoy. Nano Swarms available on the bomb just to count down a little bit more time. Blaze realises the time has come out and just going to have to run away and try and save this Phantom into the next round so that they can have some firepower going into what could be map and series point for Team Josh, but Team Moose will definitely want a final say.
This is going to be tough. They only had, what, it was like 1150 and 1500. Yes, because of sequential round losses, you will have at least a little bit of extra creds, but Moose, for all the good work this squad has done, 25 and 16, really leading the pack and doing it great. Blaze has kind of fallen by the wayside. Butter was coming up huge a few different times. Otherwise, 23 and 14 apiece are both Josh and Chicken Feet looking to take this Goose House skirmish by storm and really have a comeback after being tied. They had the advantage, and then they quickly faded away. Guiding Light identifying that there's at least attackers some over here. They're going to have at least one traveling forward, but they're going to have to keep someone nearby to make sure that this rotation isn't done for free through mid. They're going to have the teleporters to help support them as well.
Yeah, they're holding down B quite well. That paint shell's going to get a little bit of chip damage now coming in, and Josh trying to get sprays, but caught in that hookah window, has to get a kill, but doesn't as Moose is on the flank. Gets one with the knives. Charlie. Oh,
no!
That was unfortunate to say the least, and Moose picks up that Vandal and backtracks, and that could just be enough to get themselves back into this round. Spike is down, but it's very achievable for Team Josh if they pursue it, and they do indeed. But now it's a 3 versus 5. Both sites well stacked, 3 on B, 2 on A. They have to clear out all these angles, and it's not a great position for them should they choose to go down. Util has been dumped onto B already, so it's going to be a difficult take, but you know what, if they lose this one, they still have another. But they'll be fancying their way into this matchup as 3 now for the defenders on A site, waiting for this attack to come in.
You just see that gun toss that's happening constantly. He's throwing the classic forward, seeing if anyone will bite onto it. And then when they do, maybe they can get something going. But this is going to be a save. They're going to have the recon dart, identifying maybe a couple of Blaze actually steps away just in time. So Team Josh, they recognize when they have a bad hand. They're not going to force this one. Need all the guns they can get. Want to make sure they can at least stabilize this eco for the long haul, because they are in match point territory, which means it is Team Moose that is chasing them for at least one extra round. They got 2 rounds left to force us to go into overtime, which of course, when I come back to the Goose House, you guys may be forcing that. It just had to be. But the fancy footwork we saw off of Moose with the Blade Storm, that's just rough because you use everything and then you throw the classic at them and you just look like a fool. But Team Moose, they have a chance.
They do a fighting chance. The pressure is on, but it doesn't matter as Osmo finds that first kill onto Josh nonetheless, which is huge. That's one player that you want to cut down now. Just take out Chicken Feet. But it doesn't matter because the revive's on. That is the danger of having a Sage with a res available, as you get that fast pick and all of a sudden it's shut down as the advantage is turned straight away. And it doesn't really count for anything. You know, both players took the contact, but both players back at full health and revived. The only difference is that Josh no longer has that shield. But, you know, with Josh, you just have to favour the gunfight's ability. We know what they're capable of, but Osmo gets the second coming, gets the kill, and that's just going to push Cyrex back here as well. As the rest just positioned outside Hookah, waiting for the command to come in. The rotate, thinking about being watched, as 2 of them slap back in to spawn.
Holding positions, very disciplined. They're not going to get themselves into unsafe territory. Osmo on this angle, trying to at least just stagger peek. They do so, and Chicken Feet will drop. Poison Orb is still up, and that is another as Osmo clears out Cyrex. So options are starting to dwindle, especially because the spike is now in no man's land for Team Josh. Looking at maybe just keeping their guns. They're going to try and take this contact. Charlie on the swing is being caught by timing, and the temple is gone. That is 5 kills off of the revive, and Osmo may be chasing an ace. They want to just keep their gun in hand. They're not too greedy with it, and everyone is saying, hey, man, just kind of go for it. We got him right here in Hookah. Just chase him down, but it's going to be Moose that actually clears it out. The Wolf will howl. And how about this one, Veggie? Team Moose is 1 away. Let's check out the buys. I think there's going to be just enough. You do have a Spectre out there, though.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you have to think that the pressure goes on to the opposition that are trying to fight to stay in a match, but the pressure goes on to the team in Elite as well. You know, sometimes it's not easy to hold on to that and think, I'm only 1 round away. It's only 1 round. But sometimes only 1 round is that tough to get. You've seen it. They struggled to get going in this attacking half, and they got there in the end, but it's been shut down straight away by Team Moose finding the answers and the adaptions to get themselves back into this, and we could be 1 round away from overtime here should Osmo find loads, but Josh picks it up. The Hunter's Fury invested early to try and clear space on site, and that's just going to open up for Josh and Cole to pummel onto site as Josh picks up the second kill for the round and the plant comes down. It's 5 versus 3. The retake is going to be difficult with smokes available, Sage wall available, slow orb down just to try and deny as much space as possible, and they're really all just stuck here at CT. They know where they are. The Killjoy lockdown coming in to deny more space, and time just ticking, dwindling down at the moment like life itself. You only have so much of it, and it's going to be difficult once this lockdown fights through, especially Cyrus getting 2 kills and gets the 3rd for it as well, and it's 13-11. Team Josh get there in the end, and you've got to say it looked close. You wanted the overtime. It felt like we were going to get there, but it's just shut down right there. They had enough of it. They said, look, we've got bed to get to. Veggie has to go to work. Things have got to go on, and props to Team Josh fighting through at the end.
Hey, they definitely fought through, and it became that first pick off of Osmo hanging out into Hookah that really ruined them for the long term, and Butter getting caught in the tube. So often when Butter gets caught in the wrapping, you just kind of throw the whole thing in and see it all sizzle down. And then that's what happened to Team Moose. But congratulations to Team Josh. You guys come in huge through this bracket of this week's Skirmish. You will be the champions of it. And of course, being able to take home a bit of Red Bull and a bit of pride. And of course, bragging rights before the next week turns over. So job well done. And honestly, looking back at the stats as well, I think that no one is surprised to know that Team Josh, well, actually the top of the entire lobby was Moose at 28-17, 339 ACS, but Josh and Chicken Feet right behind him at 25-16, 23-16 apiece. So as the rest of it being a candy cane of stats, but those two being at the top in favor of Team Josh was just huge the entire bracket. So job well done. And Veggie, it was great to see this kind of squad come together and really fight back against what seemed to be a comeback in the making.
yeah, I became a believer of Team Moose, but you know you've got to give it to whatever was said in the changing rooms at halftime during the rounds. You know, when they called the timeout, what was said at that point in time, because it really flipped the switch back on for them. And you know, fair play to Team Josh, get the victory in the end. They've dominated on Haven and scraped and scrapped through bind and got there in the end. And commiserations to Team Moose. Looked strong. 7 first bloods just on Moose themselves. They really tried to hold their team up together, but in the end it just wasn't enough as they fall at the final hurdle, 1 round away from an excruciating overtime. It hurts when that happens. It really does.
It does. And of course, hope that you guys, if you're not already involved within the Goose House, make sure you get involved. Discord.gg/TGH, as well as the Goose House on literally anything that is social media. It's pretty much everywhere, as well as their awesome swag when it comes to their hoodies, as well as the shirts. I got one. I'm on the way. That one right there is fantastic. I love that one. I want to get the goose himself with the awesome top hat. That one looks so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to be back and hanging out with you guys. And of course, I think that you guys are also we're doing some League of Legends around here on Tuesdays. So if you want to see some extra MOBA action, it's gonna be around 6:30 to 7 o'clock UK time, not my time, because it's like afternoon, evening-ish here, and it's like super late over there for you guys, Veggie. But you know, it's always a good time wherever you are around the world.
Yeah, fully, truly, especially when you're watching the Goose House with myself and yourself. It's always a good time. But that sees the evening come to an end, I believe. So until next week, maybe you'll see our gorgeous faces again. Maybe you won't. But from us, it's peace and thanks to the prod team, and we'll see you next time.
See you around.
Nothing can slow me down. I'm coming, so don't look now, girl. I'ma run like you're ignoring all the warnings, so don't look now, girl. I'ma run like Yeah, you think that you can do it better when the walls are closing in. I know that I can stand the pressure. You can keep on throwing more. There's not a storm that I can weather. I'm not gonna lie, I might be fueled by my aggression. It can make me lose my mind. I guess I never learned my lesson. In the end, I won't give in. I know for this that I am destined. But it's hard to breathe. I will not leave. Nothing can slow me down. I'm coming, so don't look now, girl. I'ma run like you're ignoring all the warnings, so don't look now, girl. I'ma run like
I was running road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a ghostly revelation? I may have fucked up all my chances. Yeah. And we ain't sleeping on the floor again.